I want to start with something. Le'Veon Bell, Joy Taylor, just breaking the news, is an unrestricted free agent. It feels like to me the Jets need multiple playmakers to help a young quarterback and an average O-line. That feels like I'd roll the dice if I was the Jets. Does it feel like that's one of the places that makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, with a young quarterback, you like to have a young tight end, and you like to have a good running back because those are the outlets, right? Especially with Le'Veon Bell, with the way his hands and how good he is out of the backfield, as we all know. To be able to sit there and say, I've got a comfort with it's my blindest blanket.
By the way, John Dorsey's done this with Baker Mayfield. They now have Kareem Hunt, Duke Johnson, Nick Chubb, and a great tight end. So Cleveland's doing what you're suggesting.
That's what you want to put around a young quarterback to give them the best chance to have success. Because, again, those are easy decisions. Those are easy throws. You can game plan around that and build some confidence up in a young player. And so for Sam Darnold, if you can have Le'Veon Bell back there carrying the ball but also then flexing him out, putting him out in space and using those hands as well, he's a two-way threat for them offensively. So it makes a ton of sense to me. Then you put in the factor of the cap space that they have. I could see where if you want to kind of jet and move that team forward quickly with a running back like this, I think that this is something Woody Johnson, him as an owner, would appreciate the name recognition in New York town too, because they're kind of tired of hearing Barkley all the time.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mark Dominic, over 20 years in this business. Let's move to Antonio Brown. We've heard reports, and I think they're substantial, that the Patriots did look at Odell Beckham Jr. We know Antonio Brown's going to be picked up by somebody. If they were both available, OBJ, who's been now twice rumored to be on the market, one off season, one maybe during season. Okay, so, and then Antonio Brown. Who would you choose?
Antonio Brown.
Why?
I like the body type of Antonio Brown. I like the thickness of him. I mean, consistently on the football field, doesn't miss time. I think he's a fierce competitor. I think OBJ is all those. OBJ is a great player, too. We're talking two of the top 5 guys in the National Football League. But for me, Antonio Brown, I actually really love, when I watch him on tape, just the power he brings with the ball in his hands, how good he is. OBJ can stretch the top off and take off, all that kind of stuff. I think Antonio Brown, because of the way he uncovers but goes inside and is able to take all those hits, I think that makes him a better pro player for me. So I would be more excited, even though I know I'm getting an older player. I also don't think all this stuff we're hearing and everything that's concerning for Antonio Brown and how he's coming out publicly, it's a different feel to me than OBJ and what he was going through and all the stuff that we were talking about him. So I would have more confidence pursuing him in terms of Antonio Brown over OBJ. One
of the rumors was Antonio Brown to Oakland. You work with John Gruden in Tampa. Does he have the DNA to handle an outspoken star?
John does. John can handle just about anybody. I mean, John could put you in your place really fast. I mean, he put Warren Sapp in his place. And that's about as tough as it gets in terms of being able to trigger an emotion to make you compete is really hard.
I covered Warren Sapp, and he outspoken and difficult in Tampa.
And John knew how to actually push the right button. So John's excellent that way. I mean, again, we won the Super Bowl with John. He was able to take a veteran team and really kind of change the offense in one season. That's how we got all the way to the winning Super Bowl 37. John knows how to push buttons on players, so he's very good there. The problem I have there is if they go with Antonio Brown, not only did they let Amari Cooper walk away, and Antonio Brown's a better player than Amari Cooper.
Yes.
But, 25 versus 28 or whatever. But they let Khalil Mack go because they didn't have money. And now you're going to suddenly have money? So the only way I could understand that is that's being a selfish head coach in terms of John Gruden saying, we got money just on the offensive side. That defensive side, forget that.
By the way, he wasn't, when he had more control over drafting, and everybody's got weaknesses, John wasn't a great drafter.
Yeah, no.
The more power John got in personnel, I thought John was good as a coach, but he became a rock star. And then he wanted to exercise his power. And the more power John had in drafting, I think most coaches aren't. Belichick can't draft a wide receiver to save his life.
No, the Patriots really, if you look at the Patriots just draft history, they're not that great.
They're not. Bill's a genius. And Jimmy Johnson, to me, was always a personnel guy. As a game coach, he was good. Personnel.
Amazing personnel.
Jimmy could be the best personnel eye of any coach in league history. I think Pete Carroll has a very good personnel eye. Game coaching, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Let me shift to this. Cowboys are saying, listen, they don't have to pay Dak for another year.
Agreed.
He's making $700,000. I could say, let's see how you do with an aging offensive line. What would you do if you're him? Or do you sign him now and say, hey, I'll give you $18 million a year, but I'll pay you now instead of 15 months?
If he takes $18 a year, I'd sign him in 2 seconds.
Because you like him?
Well, I like him, but I mean, the going market's 30. Right? So if you want to take 18, sign me up. I think everybody in the National Football League would say, I'll take Dak Prescott at $18 million. assuming that kind of a deal, Colin, because I think that would be really a low offer. I think the only reason I would sign Dak Prescott, and I'm a Dak Prescott fan, like the guy's thrown for 10,000 yards. He's got, 32 wins and only 16 losses. We forget all the things, durable, 48 straight starts, and we're just like, beat this poor man up. And I know he's still got deep ball accuracy that he has to improve upon. I get that. I think every Cowboy fan goes, but the deep ball. I get it, but I like this quarterback. I've always liked Dak Prescott from when he came to the Senior Bowl to where he is now. I remember watching him at the Senior Bowl and coming out publicly on other networks and sitting there saying, I would draft this guy. So he's always been the guy I like. I think he started out so hot. And everybody says, well, the offensive line, that's why he's having all the success. He's still got to make decisions. You still got to make good throws. You still got to make good reads. You still took that Green Bay game all the way to the end, and you just lost.
He's not a world-class arm talent, but he's got a lot of things he does. He's got great leadership. He's a little mobile, durable body, mobile enough. Let me shift to Kyler Murray. Speaking of the Senior Bowl, did you go this year as well?
Did I go to the Senior Bowl? Yes, I did.
Yeah. So when you go to the Senior Bowl, what's the process with Kyler Murray, who I do think in 2019 will be a first-round talent? 8 years ago, pre-Russell Wilson, probably pass. But I watch him with Lincoln Riley, and I'm like, Lincoln Riley, I think he throws a good ball. So I like Kyler Murray.
No, I do. And I think the interesting thing for Kyler Murray is that he's got the Combine next week. So I'll be going to the Combine next week and watching all the quarterbacks go there and throw. And I think right now the sad thing is he's debating whether he should throw or not, and I think that's a complete mistake. Kyler Murray has to prove to everybody that he loves football. And the first way you start to prove that is compete at the Combine. You know, his height weight's going to be what it is. We're all going to get to see that. But how does he throw the ball? Because he is a shorter quarterback. Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, they have great high release points where the ball comes out really high. Yeah. So there are 6-foot quarterbacks or just under, but have high release points at 6'2" or 6'3". Kyler Murray's even shorter than they are. I want to see where that ball comes out of his hand. And there's a lot of stuff we got to dig into this young man in terms of how much does he really love football. Think of all the things. As a former general manager, what would I be doing with Kyler Murray? I would be calling, number one, I'd be calling Billy Beane. And I would talk to Billy Beane, like, why did you take the 9th pick in the draft on this guy? Like, what did he say to you to prove to you that you would actually invest that kind of a collateral for your organization? I'd want to talk to his baseball, Scott Boras. What's he said to you? Because obviously he's got a different representation now in the National Football.
And those guys aren't going to gas him up. They're not happy with him.
No, and then I think the other thing that's really interesting about Kyler Murray trying to dissect this young man, because it's such a big decision, is the Oklahoma situation. Every player there over the last couple of years obviously has had a chance to sit there and say, we've played with Baker Mayfield and now we've played with Kyler Murray. I mean, how great is that? But tell me how they're similar. Tell me how they're different. Who loved it more? Who worked more?
So find some Sooners who played with both.
Absolutely. Dig into that locker room. There's so much information you've got to pull out on this young man, because the scary thing is with Kyler Murray, as a former general manager, is if it doesn't go well, if he doesn't get drafted where he wants to go, or he struggles early, and I like the talent, but he can grab his other ball and go home. And that's what you're always worried about. He's one of those rare people that go, I'm going to go pick up a baseball, and I'm going back to baseball because it's not working the way I wanted it to. I don't know if he thinks that way. I want to meet him. But you have a lot of opportunity to dissect him and find out how important football really is.
Well, I think that, and what you point is, football's hard. It's really hard for quarterbacks in the first 2 years. So if you do meet an obstacle and you're getting ripped by the media, does he have the kind of innate, intuitive love for football that he's like, I don't care?
Is the grit there?
Or if you've got an exit off the interstate and it's really comfortable and lucrative. Good stuff. Mark Dominic. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.